Hey everybody, it's Angela and I am back with a process video, and I am going to use these really old puffy stickers that I got at a scrapbook garage sale, and they're from SEI, and I paid $1 for them years ago, and it's all I have of this collection. So I went and looked through my stamps and found some that kind of had the same types of florals, and I thought I would go ahead and make my own background paper to go with these puffy stickers since I have nothing else to match with them. So it's just a way to get rid of something in your stash that you just have like a one-off type of product. So I have a piece of watercolor paper and some black archival ink, so it won't smear when I try to do watercolor and stuff on top of it. And I have this first stamp that's from Cocoa Daisy, and it's just a kind of sketchy circle, and I'm going to go ahead and apply that on the background. And I really have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just playing, and if it doesn't come out, it doesn't work out, I'm only out a piece of watercolor paper and some time, but I get it to work for me. Usually if you play with it long enough, you can, get it to something that you like. So I just decided to put 3 of these on there. And I'm like, just set it down. There we go. And so I do that. And then this has some words that actually go with this circle that kind of curve along the same axis. So I'm going to go ahead and use those. And this one says sweetest. There's another one that says beloved and treasure, I believe. I think this one's beloved. And I put it down on the bottom right. And then I decide to go ahead and put treasure and just do sweetest treasure and put it up there. So that's going to kind of be my title. And then also in this stamp set, no, I think I'm going to go on to another. Oh no, this is also in the Cocoa Daisy one. It's a little sprig with a flower on it that's also kind of curved to match the circles. So I'm going to go ahead and put 2 of those on there as well. Just kind of curve it around underneath that beloved. So I'm liking this so far. I really have no path in mind except that I'm going to stamp a bunch of these and watercolor on them. So because of that, I pick the flower on this other stamp set that has it's not solid, it's just an outline of a flower, so that way it'll give me a place to do some of my watercoloring. My other stamps, the flowers were a solid, would be solid black, so I didn't want to use those. So I'm just going to take this largest open flower and do a couple clusters of those around the page. So I'm going to do 3 of those on the top and 2 on the bottom there. And then I also liked this really big one, this really big flower. Even though they're not open work flowers for me to watercolor, it really went well with the puffy stickers, because I think the name of those SEI puffy stickers was like dill flowers or something like that, and these kind of have that same shape, so I kind of wanted to put those on there to kind of mimic the puffy stickers. Then I think I'm pulling out here another Cocoa Daisy stamp. I think, yes. And it has some little sprigs on it that also match the puffy stickers. So I'm going to go ahead and put a few of those, even though, like I said, I can't really watercolor them because they're solid, but I think they do help integrate those puffy stickers and give it all kind of the same look. So I'm just putting a few of those sprigs around. And let's see, the last, oh, I guess that's the last of the stamping. And I have several different watercolor sets. I have one of those, the Japanese sets and everything, but I just pull out my trusty little $4 cheapy watercolors here, just because they had colors that I thought went a little more with these puffy stickers. The puffy stickers are kind of muted in the color palette, and some of the other watercolors I had were really bold colors. So I'm just pulling out this kind of peachy, the puffy stickers has kind of a peachy, a really light yellow, a pink, a kind of a strange green that I was never, more of a sagey green that I was never able to actually match. And then there's a really bright blue, and I didn't try to put the blue on there at all. I decided to kind of leave that off since it was, I figured I'd never really be able to match that color and it would probably just clash. So I stuck more with the peaches and pinks with just a little hint of yellow, and I try to match that green. I try a couple times, but I never get it to work out. So yeah, here's where I go to try this green here, but it kind of looks too khaki green color, so I just kind of blot it off. Put a little bit of yellow in there. My yellow is brighter in the watercolors than it is, so I try to add a little bit of that darker yellow into it. And I wind up getting something that doesn't really match, but it doesn't clash either. So, I'm just playing with it. And then I'm putting a little bit of the orange on there. And just kind of giving, light touches of color, not super saturated or anything. This is going to have kind of a sketchy look to it in the end. And I'm kind of mixing my colors a little bit. I'm not making one flower like all peach or anything. It's putting little bits of pinks and peaches in each flower. So I try a little bit more of this green. It's a little bright, so I wind up just kind of blotting it off to try to give a hint of green, but not too much. And then I move down to these other flowers. And this was really, it was really fun. It was just kind of calming, and I kind of just played at it, and yeah, I really enjoyed myself. This layout's a little more involved than the previous couple that I've done, and so it's just fun to kind of get back into some of the mixed media and some of the paints and stamps and stuff like that. And to also use this older pack of puffy stickers, because I've always liked them. I guess I hesitated to use them because I just never had anything else that really matched it. So this was kind of my way of getting around that and getting the packet of stickers used. So I decided to look at my watercolor pencils to see if I could match some of these other this green and stuff that I was having a problem with, but the green in that doesn't go very well either, so I wind up adding some more water to it to kind of thin it out and everything, so I give up on that idea. I go back and just add a few more colors just to make the intensity just a little bit higher in the centers of the flowers. And there we go. So that's all I'm going to do as far as the watercoloring. And like I said, it was a lot of fun. And so now I go and I get a couple pieces of paper to map my photo. I just have this black and white photo that I'm going to use. And this is of little Emma. So this will be the second layout for her album. And I'm just going to do a real, just some thin borders on this just to kind of make the photo pop. But like I said, I don't really have like any kind of paper collection or anything that matches with these stickers, so I just kind of use these two solid colors. So I'm just going to go ahead and tack those down, and then I'm going to dig into those puffy stickers. And it was really exciting to be able to use these because these things have got to be 6 years old or something. I don't know. They were still sticky, but not super sticky, so I just add a little bit of dot adhesive on the back. And then I'm going to start taking these stickers off, all the little sprigs, and kind of making it like the picture is kind of in a little flower garden. Just a little sketchy flower garden. So I want some of the stickers to go over the photo and incorporate that into this little garden. And I do love the fact that the puffy stickers kind of have a gloss to it, so it's neat to have kind of the watercolor background and all the matte stamping and stuff, and then to have the dimension and the shine of the puffy stickers. They work really well together. And then this sticker pack also had these little circular items that work good, almost like a little enamel dots. So that's kind of how I use them. And so I keep going through just pulling some of these little leaves. I apply those to that tall flower on the left. Again, more of these little round ones. You're just using those like enamel dots. Just kind of doing some infill areas. And I pretty much used all the flowers off of here, quite a few of these little circles. Mostly what I didn't use were the tags. So I might cut those down and put them with my tags. See if I can't get those used on some other layouts. So I go back to this Cocoa Daisy stamp, the one that had the little sketchy circles. And it also had these little dot patterns. And I decide to go ahead and almost like ink and apply a few of those throughout this embellishment cluster. And then it also had a little tiny sketchy circle in there. So I'm going to go ahead and apply a couple of those, and I'm just going over my photo mat to help integrate that into this flower garden. And so I'm really liking that, except where I stamped it over the photo mat, it kind of left a little line there, you can see. So I'm just taking my pen and coloring that in so there's no little line. So I'm really liking how it looks, and I do want to put her name on there. Oh, actually, first I'm cutting it down. I'm taking just a little sliver off two sides of it, and I am going to mount it on a paper, on a background paper, just because the white kind of ran off the edges and it needed to be framed. I thought it would look better framed, but it didn't need a very large frame. So I'm just looking through to find a paper that kind of pulls those colors, but that one was a little bit too patterned. So I thought I'd go with more of a solid. So I pull out the same orange that I matted the photo, but that was just a little bit too bright. So I went with this darker kind of brownish black color. It's like brown with a little bit of a black pattern on it. And you don't see much of it sticking out, you know, around the edge, but just enough to just frame the layout a little bit. So I go ahead and put that down, and then I pull out, I just got this Heidi Swap Black here like 2 months ago. I hadn't used it before, and it's my first black splatters that I've had, and I just loved it. So I'm just adding a bunch of black splatters throughout my embellishment cluster. And it just really pulls everything together. And then I just have to kind of clean it off the top of a couple of those little puffy stickers. And then I go and I look through my thickers because I want to put her name on this, and I find a couple of the more brush script ones, these Amy Tangerine, and I really like the brush font because I already have that little cursive in the Sweetest Treasure there, but it just was too big. And when I got to the M's, the M's were just too wide, so I took those back off and thought, okay, I'm going to go with these other thickers where the font's a little narrower. And I go to put that one down, but it's just still too bulky on there. It puts too much black at the bottom of the photo there, and it's a little bit too heavy. So I go ahead and I pull it off again. So don't be afraid to, if you don't like it, just pull it off. And I go and I find these little tiny ones, and although they're not like a brush script or anything like that, they're a lot smaller, and so I liked the size of that. And you couldn't really see them when I put them on the photo, so I'm just going to put them right up here. So it kind of says Swedish Treasure, and then Emma, and then Beloved. And so that is, I think, about all I do to this layout. Oh, I think I pull another one of those little circle ones just to put something else on the bottom of that photo to bring a little color into it, because it just needed a little something right there. And then I call it done. So I'm going to zoom in here and show some close-ups so you can see all the stamping and the little bit of color in the watercolors, and then all these puffy stickers that I've been holding on to and hoarding for so long. And I just really love the way it turned out. It's like a little sketchy flower garden with just a little bit of color and stuff in it. So that is my finished layout. So I hope you guys like it, and if you have any questions or anything, just leave me a comment below, and I will talk to you later. Bye!